World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday. We're your hosts, Tyrone Glover, the dressed down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery, and I'm coming to you live from my hometown of Yonkers, New York. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show. Happy Black History Month. We are 11 days into the Black History Month, and I hope that everybody is doing their part. I'm going to have a little bit of a preview of my tribute and my contribution to Black history. So I hope, again, you stay with the program. We're going to finish off where we left off last week, talking about, are you being harassed by a debt collector? Hopefully, again, you're not. But if you are, go back to last week's show and catch up. If you're already caught up, join in the conversation and do what I always ask everybody to do. Grab that device. Go ahead and send it out some invites. I sent it out to my following on my Substack. I sent it out to my following on my YouTube. I sent it out to my following on the variety of different social media platforms. I'm asking you, take that 1-2 minutes, because you may not need everything, but I'm guaranteeing you there's somebody out there in your circle that could use this information. If for whatever reason you're not sharing that information, I'm going to ask you as we move through this show, the next show, and so forth and so on, to make sure that you are sharing this content. Get it out there into the world. Trust me when I tell you, if you do, again, we're giving you this much information. If you do this much, you will see how, one, as my good friend Dr. Yana B always says, how money truly works. If money's not working for you, it's working against you. This is our year, folks, 2025. Make sure that you are doing the things that you need to be doing, because next year is not promised to us. But this year that we are here, that we are amongst the midst of some controversial topics. And I always have to say, this is not a political show, but it all intertwines. I'm not here to indoctrinate. I'm not here to cause any problems for anyone or anything. What I'm here to do is provide you with information that's going to help you get past some of these challenges, move on to a much better opportunity that's going to be there for you. But you have to want it more than those who are presenting it to you. So let's dive on in. You are on Soul City Network, and we do what we do best, which is help you leverage your score. All right, let's dive on into the subject matter. And as I said, we're going to continue where we left off last week, talking about, are you being harassed from a debt collector? All right, so where we left off is, can debt collectors legally use auto dialers or robocalls to connect or contact your cell phone? Know your rights under the TCPA. The Telephone Consumer Protection Act was enacted in 1991 to protect consumers from unwanted automated calls implemented by the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, in 1992. This law restricts debt collectors and creditors from making pre-recorded, automated, or auto-dial calls to your cell phone without your explicit consent. Again, cell phones. The majority of us use our cell phones. So again, there could be some violations going on. And if you don't know your rights, guess what? You're not able to take it upon yourself to allow these violators to be sued. Again, if a debt collector contacts you using robocalls or auto dialers without your permission, you may have legal grounds to sue for damages under the TCPA. Violators can face statutory penalties ranging from $500 to $1,500 per legal call. Now, again, I'm going to always suggest prior to you doing this, make sure you consult an attorney if you need to consult an attorney. But I can tell you already right now, based off of my now almost 2 decades of doing what I'm doing, I even tell individuals, be careful going down that route. I'm not here, as I said, I'm not here to bash any legal profession. I'm not here to insinuate, indoctrinate, do any of those things that some people tend to walk away with. My opinions are my own opinions, and they have nothing to do with the station itself. As we all know, we are here to do what we do, and sometimes it may rub someone the wrong way, but that's not our intent. Our intent is to provide as much factual information to all of us, every single one of us. Yes, Black Lives Matter, and guess what? All lives matter. But we're still going to keep doing what we need to do. So understand your rights can help you take actions against harassment. If you're receiving unauthorized robocalls from debt collectors, you may be entitled to financial compensation. So how to legally stop debt collectors from contacting you? Yes, you have the right to stop a debt collector from contacting you. To do so, you must send a formal written request instructing them to cease communications. Once the collector receives your letter, they are legally required to stop all further contact except to confirm they will no longer reach out or to notify you of any legal actions they intend to take. But again, once you get in front of these things, being proactive versus reactive, trust me when I tell you, you'll get these individuals to stop. You will get these individuals to stop. You have to be as persistent as they are. A lot of the times, as I said before, they're buying these debts for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. They're duping you into believing that you owe them, when in all actuality, you don't. You do not owe a third party. You do not even owe the first party once the first party has chosen to take the charge off or the write-off. Make sure that you see that on your credit report. Then I can help you even further with making sure that what we're talking about here ceases to exist. And you can also get that item removed off your credit report. If you owe money, the collector or the collection agency may still pursue legal actions against you, such as filing a lawsuit to collect the outstanding balance. But again, charge off, write off, the choices that businesses, financial institutions choose to make. But again, knowing your rights will help you navigate that space and also come away with more bread back in your pocket. Because again, these companies are doing a lot of egregious overreaching when it comes to consumer protections and the laws that protect us. As we see with what's going on in this administration, overreaching, inundating the airwaves with all kinds of noise. What do you think, and where do you think they got that from? Well, here. Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, inundating the information waves or information space with a whole bunch of noise, not doing the things that they are bound by law to do. And if you don't know your rights, as I keep saying, you don't have them. All right, so can debt collectors discuss your debt with others? Know your privacy rights. If you have an attorney, debt collectors may contact them instead of you. If you do not have an attorney, collectors can reach out to others, but only to confirm your address, telephone number, or workplace. Now, we know they're not supposed to be calling your workplace at a certain time. They're not even supposed to be calling you at a certain time. Technically, they can't even call your workspace. But I wanted to keep these things in place so that you understand if you do, that is a violation. If they call you after a certain time frame, violation. All right. An attorney will help you. Again, but you as a pro se litigant, you would probably end up keeping 15, 18, whatever they charge on an hourly rate for you to do it yourself. And this is what's the beauty of being a pro se litigant. You get to actually represent yourself in civil court when it comes to you. Who's going to be best to explain your situation better than you? Yeah, you can go out there and you can hire a legal professional, and that legal professional, if they end up getting what you want, which is a full dismissal, that's fantastic. But unfortunately, what our understanding and what our circumstances have been for a lot of our clients is that it's been a settlement, some type of a settlement. We came to this country in the 1400s. We're not settling anymore, legal eagles. It's a full dismissal, or you guys can't do what I can do. So by law, a collector can contact a third party only once and cannot discuss that you owe debt. But you know how these individuals are. Again, if they violate your rights, take the necessary course of action. Except for you and your spouse, no one else can be informed about the details of the alleged debt. Know your rights and protect your privacy. All right, can a debt collector call me at work? Yes, but only initially. If you inform them either verbally or in writing that your employer does not allow such calls, they must immediately stop contacting you at work. So if you're going to send them a cease and desist letter, also put that in the cease and desist letter. Please do not call my work. Again, violations could lead up to a potential fine or again, you can sue them for up to $500 to $1,500. Can I dispute a debt at any time? Absolutely. You have the right to dispute, and I like to say challenge dispute. Again, you got to remember the verbiage, the understandings of what a word means per its definition. A dispute basically means you did something and now you're disputing because you didn't like the outcome. Well, we don't dispute here in our understanding of credit challenges. We call them challenges for a reason because we're challenging the validity of the information that's being presented. So you got to remember that. A dispute means you did something. A challenge means is that you're not validating whether or not you did it or you didn't do it, but you know that the information there is incorrect in some form or fashion. All right. So again, you have the right to dispute or challenge any part of an alleged debt, either orally or in writing at any time. If you do not dispute it and the debt collector reports the debt to collection agencies, they are legally required to mark as a dispute on your credit report. So it's really important. Let's get in front of these credit games that Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian are playing. Let's be proactive and not reactive. 2025 is the course corrections year, ladies and gentlemen. Get in front of these issues now. While we have all this distraction, while we have all of this noise going on with this administration, only less than, well, actually a month now in, what are you witnessing? Do you want to go another whole year witnessing the same thing when you could be putting a lot more energy and time into making sure that your bottom lines are taken care of? That's what we're here to make sure that happens for you. All right. So what are your opinions if a debt collector breaks the law? If a debt collector has violated your rights, you have powerful legal options. File a lawsuit. You can sue in state or federal court within 1 year of the violation. So again, please be pulling up your annual credit report. If you are unsure how to navigate those trade lines, please, again, Erykah Badu, and I always love to say it, Erykah Badu is giving everyone permission to call Tyrone. Recover compensation. If you prove a violation, you may be entitled to damages, including compensation for emotional distress and statutory damages up to $1,000 per violation. So you have call violations, you have debt collectors breaking the law violations. I mean, you could end up with a nice little chunk of change, all by doing your part to remove or get things corrected properly on your credit reports. Get legal fees covered. Court cost and attorney fees can also be recovered. Finding an attorney who won't be trying to dig deep in your pockets, good luck with that. A lot of these attorneys out there, as much as I want to say I appreciate our legal experts, we're seeing in a lot of ways that these legal experts bend, twist, do things to the legal process that makes us question. So again, I'm hoping that we have some ethical, some morally competent legal individuals who are out there doing the right things by the consumers. You don't have to gouge. You don't have to go after every single penny from the customer when you already know there could be a potential payday on the back end for just assisting, helping out. Where are our pro bono people? All right, where are our pro bono legal experts? Because you could make out like crazy just by working with individuals who understand this space. We know a lot of our legal professionals also equally, they're general practitioners. So they don't even have the 2 decades of experience that I have. They're not even using the understanding of going back and looking at those credit laws and looking at those laws that apply to how do we successfully remove items off of individuals' credit reports. So joining the class action, as I started this off last show. Class actions. If others have been affected, you may be able to join a group lawsuit to hold the debt collectors accountable. And I can tell you right now, all of us would easily be able to get 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 200, 300, 400, multiple individuals on a class action lawsuit. And we could definitely do some harm, and not in a violent way, but in a financial way, to get these creditors, these abusers of our public trust, literally put them in a position where, again, we're not asking for settlements. We're asking for that they cannot write it off. A settlement is great for us, but we don't want them, meaning the debt collectors or these third parties or even the first parties duping the system, to be able to turn around, pay the fine or the fee, and then write it off. That writing it off allows for them to embolden themselves. And it has been going on for decades now. They embolden themselves, they dupe us, they trick us into thinking, oh, they're doing something for us, when in all actuality, they're putting us in harm's way even further. Know your rights and take actions against unlawful debt collection practices. What to do if a debt collector breaks the law? Know your rights and take actions. If a debt collector has violated the law, you have powerful legal options to protect yourself. File a lawsuit. Again, you have 1 year from the date of the violation to sue in state or federal court. Recover compensations. You may be entitled to financial recovery for emotional distress and other damages suffered due to the violation. Statutory damages. Even without proving specific harm, you can receive up to $1,000 per violation if the debt collector is found liable. Trust me when I tell you, the way that we orchestrate our understanding to relieve consumers of these harms that have been placed on them by debt collectors, the original creditor, the third party, you could come out very well, because we'll find that liability. And the beauty of that liability is that they're constantly repeating it with multiple individuals. We heard that the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, the doors were closed. We know that that is an illegal act. For those of you who do not understand, the CFPB was established under a president. It was put into law by Congress, and no other president can remove it under zero circumstances. Zero circumstances. I think all of these individuals who are part of this administration and all of these legal eagles, you know what y'all need to do? Y'all need to go back to civics class. Y'all need to take a third grade civics class to understand checks and balances and separate but equal. Legal costs covered. Courts may require that the debt collector to pay your attorney fees and court costs if you win the case. There's no if here. When you win the case. Trust me, I'm telling you, when you win the case. All right? Do not be afraid to go to court, ladies and gentlemen. Do not. Do not let a situation turn into an adverse inference. That's mean you got a court paper, you didn't respond to it. Now you have a judgment, and that's a little bit more challenging to remove once you have had a judgment placed on it. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying that, again, if you are finding yourselves in certain circumstances where you need additional assistance, not just with the removals of items on your credit report, but you're now getting some challenges coming from third parties or even the first party. Know your rights, ladies and gentlemen. Know your rights. Class action lawsuits, as I said, if multiple people have been affected, a group lawsuit may allow victims to seek greater compensations together. Don't let unlawful debt collection practices go unchallenged. Exercise your right and take actions today. Do it. I'm telling you, you will thank yourself. Your future self will thank you. So what must debt collectors disclose about your debt? Know your rights. Within 5 days of their first contact with you, debt collectors must legally legally required to send a written notice detailing the exact amount you owe. But if this amount was charged off, how are they sending the exact amount you owe? They're sending an amount that they charged off. So it's really important to understand that. That falls under the bad debt deduction. And it's really important. No one is forcing these original creditors to write this debt off. These original creditors, as they do multiple times with big companies and other businesses, why don't they do the exact same thing with consumers, which is renegotiate? Let's try to put this back on a good footing versus, oh, well, we don't care about you consumers, but we'll definitely take care of our businesses. But you consumers, so what? We'd rather see your credit get ruined. We'd rather see your life, your financial life be put on hold or on pause. So you're not forcing them. Know your rights. And when they come after you, you'll have more of a factual basis to win your case because you didn't put them in that position. They put themselves in that position. I'm telling you, I'm good at what I do. Why? Because I've been doing it for almost 2 decades. I am up to speed, up to par, very well versed, and as you can probably see, articulate enough to put it together so that I can coach you as a pro se litigant to go into that courtroom and handle your business. So the name of the creditor to whom the debt is owed. Look on your credit report. You'll be able to find that as well. Plus, again, you're going to be primarily looking for charge-off, late payments, write-offs. Anything that is an adverse item on your credit report can be challenged and can be removed. Your right to dispute, again, challenge, but I'm going to keep constantly using that dispute word because you're going to see it more often. And because you see it more often, I wanted to make sure that it was put into this context so that I can explain why you should not be allowing disputes to come out of your mouth, but more challenges, challenging the validity of the information. All right. So your rights to dispute, challenge the debt is if you believe it is incorrect. If a debt is off by 1 penny, it's incorrect. If your name is off, if the account number, anything can be seen as incorrect. But if you don't know how to navigate that trade line, then guess what's going to happen? You're probably not going to be able to spot that incorrect item. Understanding information is critical to protecting yourself from errors, harassment, or unfair collection practices. Stay informed and take action if necessary. Can a debt collector keep contacting me if I dispute, challenge the debt? Know your rights. If you believe you do not owe the debt or the collector must stop contacting you, period. If you believe you do not owe the debt, again, keep thinking about what I just said earlier. The debt itself went through something which we call a reduction. The original creditor decided to take the charge off. They decided not to continue negotiating with you. They can do whatever they want. They believe, again, it's their money and they can have at it. As J.G. Wentworth says, my money and I want it now. They have the option to do that. They can do after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, after 120 and 150, 180. They can do whatever they want to within that time frame. But that's their choice. They're not even giving you the option to negotiate. Why? Because you don't get the option to talk to a CEO or someone up that higher echelon. You're talking to individuals that barely know their own names, but yet they're trying to go back and forth with you about a debt that they themselves don't even fully understand. A collector must stop contacting you, but only if you send them a written dispute challenge within 30 days of receiving their notice. And again, you can even start the process prior to receiving any type of notice. You just have to go to annual credit report. Annual credit report. The website is amazing. And trust me when I tell you, it's there to help. All right. Once you get it from annual credit report, if you do not see HTTP annual credit report, you are not where you need to be. And if it's charging you or asking you to pay anything, you are definitely not where you need to be, because annual credit report, government site, doesn't charge you any money. However, collections efforts may resume if the agency provides valid proof of the debt. A lot of these third parties, a lot of these charge offs do not have that valid proof because they have decided to take that tax reduction, and they would have to open up their taxes to prove otherwise. If they sell it to a third party, that third party equally doesn't have anything bearing your signature on it. So again, as I said, you have more opportunities to have this item removed than sitting there waiting for 7 years for it to drop off on its own, such as a copy of the bill or statement confirming you owe. That doesn't, again, might seem like that would make perfect sense, but again, you got to remember, did the original creditor charge it off? Did the original creditor write it off? Did the original creditor stop communicating with you and took that bad debt deduction? If they did, that works to your favor. Take actions. Send your dispute challenge in writing promptly to protect your rights and prevent further harassment. Again, in writing, do not use their websites. Using their websites limits your ability to choose further challenge options. All right. Do not go on their website because they may have 5 or 6 or however many, but you're still limiting yourself. And by sending it in a written format, you get to put as much information as you need. And I'm telling you, how to orchestrate these letters are phenomenal. And trust me, yes, if businesses are using AI, why shouldn't you use AI? Food for thought. All right. Can a debt collector keep contacting me if I dispute, challenge the debt? Know your rights. If you believe you do not owe the debt, you have the right to stop a collector from contacting you. Within 30 days of receiving your written notice, you must send a formal letter disputing, challenging the debt. Once they receive the letter, they must stop contacting you unless they provide actual proof of the debt, such as a copy of a bill or other official documentation. A copy of the bill, it's nice, but the bill is just basically saying there was some transactions made on this particular item, on this alleged item. A lot of it doesn't even have your information. A lot of that information has been what they call redacted, blackened out, because again, by law, the original creditor can't sell your information. Now, they can sell their information, but they have to redact some of your information. Again, don't get bought up or caught up in the minutia of what you don't know. Find someone like myself who can help you. And I give kudos to everybody out there who's in this space, but make sure that the individuals that you're talking to aren't humming and You hear how I'm talking? You hear how it's flowing like water? And it goes like that. And that's how everyone who you're dealing with when it comes to your circumstances, they should know their information. And if they don't, you'll be able to pick up on that real quick. So understand your right. Your rights can protect you from unfair collection practices. Take actions today, folks. Just don't wait around here. What to do if a debt you don't owe is wrongfully reported on your credit report. Errors on your credit report have had serious consequences, impacting the future, the financial future and creditworthiness. If a debt you don't owe appears on your report, you have rights and legal options to challenge and correct it. Right? You see how again they've put the challenge in there. Yes, challenging it, not disputing it, but challenge it and then correct it. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, credit reporting agencies, collectors, and debt collectors are required to ensure the accuracy being the operative word. All right, so if it's off by one penny, it's not accurate for the information they report. If they fail to do so, you have the right to take legal actions against those responsible for the false information. Take control of your credit, ladies and gentlemen. Take control of your credit. If your credit report contains errors through no fault of your own, we can help. We offer free credit report review. Free. Just like you can get it from Annual Credit Report for free. So free, that works very well, and I hope it works very well for you, and can assist you in holding negligent parties accountable. Don't let misinformation damage your financial future. Reach out today to protect your rights. All right, the Fair Credit Reporting Act provides powerful protections for victims of identity theft. If your credit and reputation are at risk due to fraudulent activity or experience consumer protections, advocates will fight aggressively to restore your good name and hold credit reporting agencies and creditors accountable. There's the law right there, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And those of us who are in this space, experienced consumer protection advocates. Not only will I fight aggressively, I'm sure there's other individuals out there equally. I lift up my community and not tear down my community. And all I can hope is that those in this space doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, please live true to your craft and your skill. Help consumers. Don't put them in harm's way. Don't try to gouge them. Don't try to take them for every penny. Help the consumer, because I'm telling you, that consumer could be that one who tells another person, who tells another person, and who tells another person, and tells another person. Next thing you know, your door is coming off the hinges because people who have been in financial harm's way due to other unreputable institutions doing what we do. Now you're going to find that once you start doing it right, people are going to keep coming to you and keep coming to you because they know how important this is. And you equally should know how important it is in not doing things that are going to put your business or a consumer in harm's way. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I have about half an hour. I have about 35 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over really quick. I have a Black History kickoff. Since it is Black History Month, I'm going to be kicking off my series, which is Black History Month in a Divided America, a call for unity and accountability. Now, this is what I created, and my Substack, as you can see here, is Tyrone Substack. So for those of you who don't know who I am, you want to get to know me, go to my Substacks. Go to my Substacks, get in touch with and in tune with my Substacks, because you'll probably learn a lot about me by just reviewing my Substacks. So again, I'm going to go through this, and all of this was pretty much done my own words. These images was created by AI, so I know AI is a complicated, maybe even a little bit of a disturbing topic. But ladies and gentlemen, If businesses have been using it for decades, don't you think it's now time for us? Bad information in, obviously bad information out. Copying and pasting is plagiarizing, all right? So use your own words. We're articulate enough. We know how to speak. We know how to put things together. We might not know how to put them in that format in which I can present it to a business person. So use those tools. We might not even be able to present it in a academic understanding. So use those tools, but also go back and make sure that you read yours before you send it. All right? Because you're going to be asked about what's in it. And if you don't know what's in it, then again, you're setting yourself up for a conversation that you probably don't want to have. But Black History Month in a divided America, a call for unity and accountability. Black History Month has been a beacon of recognition, resilience, and recognizing. It is time to honor the immeasurable contributions of Black America, confronting the painful truth of systemic oppression and recommitment to the ongoing fight for equality. Yet this year, as in recent years, the observance arrival amidst a storm of political divisions, cultural erasures, and collective disillusionment. The promise of an administration that would uplift Black history and amplify its significance has instead collided with a reality where the history is minimized, politicized, or outright rejected. The broken promises of representation. Many hope for leaderships that would celebrate Black History Month, not just with performative gestures, but with policies and actions reflecting its spirit. Instead, we face an administration and a political movement that dismisses Black narratives as divisive, critiques educational initiatives like critical race theory, and frames the teaching of America's racial past as a threat to national unity. The MAGA slogan, "Make America Great Again," begs the question, when was America great for all its people? For Black America, the answer is never. From slavery to Jim Crow, redlining to mass incarceration, greatness has always been conditional, reserved for those deemed worthy by systems of power. The Republican Party has dominated by a faction more akin to the cult of personality that a political institution has weaponized nostalgia of a majestic past. But Democrats, too, bear responsibility. Their mixed messaging, corporate allegiance, and willingness to compromise with extremists have eroded trust. When Black voters are courted during election cycles only to see their priorities sidelines afterwards, it fuels cynicism. But both parties, in their pursuit of power and profit, have too often failed to prioritize people over politics. The irony of all lives matter. To those who ask, why Black History Month? Or do all lives matter? The answer lies in 400 years of history. Black lives were condemnified, brutalized, and excluded from America's founding ideals. While progress has been made, the backlash against racial reckoning, from bans on divisive concepts to the sanitization of curricula, proves that the fight for acknowledgement is far from over. Black History Month exists because for centuries, Black history was erased. Its presence becomes its presence because systemic inequalities persist, meaning it persists because systemic inequalities persist. A house divided, the crises of collective identity. The fractures within Americas are mirrored in Black communities itself. The solidarity once forged in churches, civil rights organizations, and grassroots movements have frayed. In cities like Yonkers, New York, Hyde Park, New York, where community gatherings were once projected unity, disparate events have shattered effects. Juneteenth celebrations and Black History Month programs, once centralized, have become a fragment, a reflection of broader disunity. As Abraham Lincoln warned, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Divisions weakens political leverage and dilutes cultural power. The blame does not only rest solely on politicians. The Black church, community leaders, and even everyday citizens must confront their roles in the fragmentation. Have we prioritized individualism over collective action? Have we allowed respectability, politics, or internalized oppression to silence necessary conversations? The erosion of Black culture coherent is not just a political loss. It is a spiritual and existential one. So, as we continue, again, the path forward, reclaiming power through unity, the Black History Month must be a catalyst for change, not just in policy, but in perspective. To elected officials we demand accountability. Stop reducing Black votes to a demographic checkbox. To Black leaders and institutions, we urge collaboration. Reject soiled efforts and rebuild coalitions that amplify shared goals. To the broader public, we issue a challenge. Recognize that Black history is American history. Until this truth is woven into the fabric of our national identity, progress will remain stunted. The road ahead requires courage. It demands that we hold leaders, regardless of party, to the fire when they prioritize profit over people. It asks white allies to move beyond performative solidarity to active anti-racism. And it compels Black America to reclaim agency in telling our story, preserving our culture, and demanding our dues. So what say you? A final question. What say you to Black America? Will you continue to allow division to define us? Or will we rise united to reclaim our narrative? To all Americans, will you confront the myth of greatness and work towards a nation where justice is not conditional? The stakes cannot be higher. As James Baldwin wrote, not everything that is faced can be challenged, but not everything faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. This Black History Month lets us face our past and present with unflinching honesty and build a future worthy of the struggle. Ladies and gentlemen, make time to unite. Make time to unite. Our survival depends on it. So, what are your thoughts? Share this article, engage in dialogue, and join the movement to ensure Black History Month evolves from a year observance into a lifelong commitment to justice. That was my contribution to Black History Month on this 11th day of February. It's time for us people, all of us, to get in front of our differences, to get in front of the things that we find uncomfortable, and move towards a unified understanding that we, the marginalized, our greatest asset, and using tools that are available to us to create the future that we want. This year is our year. All right. This year is our year. That goes for our marginalized communities. That goes for definitely our Black communities. This goes for our Hispanic communities. That goes for all of those who believe that the systems itself has not truly given them the respect and the understanding that they want or that they need. We know, and those of you who don't agree, we know that someone played on everyone's grievances. And that's why things are being challenged in the manner in which they are being challenged. But I encourage everyone, if you have time, and I'm encouraging you to make time, get connected with your inner being, your inner understanding, and sit down, have that conversation with yourself and say, hey, self, what are we doing? Are we doing the things that we need to? I'm encouraging churches to come together like never before. Send a clear message to those elected officials that have to go from church to church to church to church to church in order to get the message that, wow, they're fragmented. So I don't necessarily have to do everything for everyone. I'm going to figure out the ones that I'm going to like the most because of whatever their conditions may be. But let's get in front of this conversation. Let's show unity in this world of division. Well, in the United States of division, because I'm almost, I feel like calling us not the United States of America. I feel like calling us the divided states of America, because that's what we are. We're more divided today than we have ever been, at least in my history of being part of this great nation. As a veteran, someone who's worked with multiple ethnic groups, and I appreciated the fact that I was allowed to serve, to put my hand up and honor that Constitution. And unfortunately, we're living in a circumstance now where individuals are saying things just to get the position, just to get the power. And once they have the position and the power, are they really doing the work? Well, we're finding out that that's not the case. We are seeing a lot of overreaching going on and multiple understandings of overreaching, whether it be in a financial space, whether it be in the academia space, whether it be in the employment space, whether it be in the retail space, the business space, it doesn't matter. Overreach, in my opinion, devalues you. It basically tells you that you're not worthy. And when they believe you're not worthy, you're going to internalize that. And when you start internalizing that, you're going to pass that down to the next generation, into the next generation, into the next generation. We just started in 2025, the Alpha generation. I mean, 6 generations have been before that. And each one of those generations have contributed. But unfortunately, along the way, during the 5th or the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th one, we lost our way. And it's now overdue time to get back on track. Course correct, ladies and gentlemen. No more New Year's resolution. Course correct. Let's get back on point. All right, so that was my Substack. And my Substack is doing extremely well. And I encourage anyone who has time to, again, go back, take a look at that Substack. It is filled with great information. I'm here to, again, help all of our public to understand the importance of what they should be doing and how we can assist. And that's basically it. We as a community now must come together. We as a community now must do the things that we need to do to protect every one of our citizens. As I said, I'm going to speak primarily to my African-American communities because that's who I primarily represent, because I'm an African-American. But I also encourage our marginalized communities, our youth of color, our greatest assets. I encourage anyone who believes that their circumstances have not been just and you are struggling to find a just method or a way to navigate that space. Don't let yourself get caught up in the nonsense or the noise, because if you do, that's what they want. All right. If you get caught up in the nonsense and the noise, that's what they want. And it's going to prevent or it's going to delay your recovery efforts. As you can see, Leverage Credit Recovery is our name. Why? Because we leverage our experience, we leverage our talents to help individuals in that credit space, that space of building. Credit is a building tool. And if you use it properly, you will be able to build yourself a foundation where it would almost never need recovery. But it's also nice to know that there is a recovery element. And that's how you should be looking at credit. You cannot fix credit. You cannot repair credit. Credit is a recoverable item because it is a behavior. And the only way to address a behavior is to recover from it. But first, you got to acknowledge it. And once you recover from it, you become stronger. You don't want to repeat. And sometimes we do find ourselves right back in that same old condition and position, but that should never stop you. That should encourage you to do more, to get back on top of why I got myself in this predicament. And let's make sure, again, that we're starting our youth off. I'm going to be doing a program at some point addressing youth products that you could be using to make sure that your kids can start building that financial stability at an early age. Getting them interested, getting them connected, getting them on point with how money works is going to set them up for a lifetime of success, financial success. Get them started early. Get them started in that understanding of, hey, we got these products out here, fintech products. What fintech products are financial literacy products or financial products that are primarily online. But again, do your homework, do your due diligence. And if you are unsure, connect with me and I'll be more than happy to make sure that you have the right products. But we love what we do. And when you love what you do, I was always told when you love what you do, it's never work. So that's the beauty of doing what I do. So how do you get connected with us? Well, Leverage Credit Recovery, let's stay connected. We have a website, and that website, we have a website that's being built. And actually, we have 3 websites. We have Leverage Credit Recovery, we have Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs, and we have Credit Coach. The Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs, which I'm so pleased and so happy to say, we are a nonprofit organization. We just got our nonprofit status in November. We wanted to navigate that space, give everyone time to enjoy the holidays, the Christmas holiday, give everyone time to get settled into the first new year of the new administration. So now we're in. So now we know what to expect. Not necessarily 100% of what to expect, but we can see the course in which this new administration is going. But you, that consumer, you, that individual, you, that responsible person who leads that household, whether it's a whether it's a 2-family household, by meaning 2, or if it's a single family household. Mothers pulling double duties, congratulations, got to always applaud you. Fathers pulling double duties, congratulations, got to always applaud you. But nevertheless, get in front of these financial challenges and these situations now. I'm telling you, if you do, again, as I said, we got this much information for you, but all we want you to focus on is just that much. That's it. If you can do those pieces, you're probably going to find yourself in a much better situation. So again, our link tree is Leverage Credit Recovery. That is Leverage Credit Recovery. That's link tree, Leverage Credit Recovery. You can reach us also by email. That is leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. Once again, that is leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. Or you can reach us by telephone and text 805-428-9424. We got about 7 minutes, and I was hoping that maybe a question or two would pop up. If you have a question, it'd be a great time to pose it before we get ready to wrap this show up. As you can tell, it goes so quick. It goes so quick. I love it. Trust me. I love it. I love being able to do this because of the fact it really should show individuals now that, wow, this guy's pretty smart. This guy knows what he's talking about. And all I want to do, as I keep saying, is make sure that you have the tools. Make sure that you have the resources. Make sure that you have the knowledge. Make sure that you understand your rights. Because if you do not understand your rights, that means they are going to abuse them. Not they meaning you, but I mean the individuals who know you don't know your rights. Got to stay on point. Got to stay on top. I wanted to equally Also, since I have a minute or two while I'm waiting on someone to send in a question, or again, I'm here to do what you need me to do for that time frame. So what I'm going to show you is if you have a situation and you are unsure how to get that credit report. If you could, please put this on the screen. Here is how you go about getting your credit report. All right. Annual credit report. This is what you want to look for. This is the website that you want to look for right here. As you can see, the only source for free credit reports authorized by federal law. All right. And I love this fact. The most free weekly online credit reports are available from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Credit reports play an important role in your financial life, and we encourage you to regularly check your credit history. And it's so easy. It is so easy. All you have to do is hit this little green rectangular and allow for it to do what it does, which is you put your information in. But if you're not looking at this site, when you go to annual credit report, and as with all information that sometimes ends up on the internet, be careful. Make sure you are looking at HTTPS. It has to be that S. That S basically means it's a secured site and your information is going to be protected. Okay. All right. But this is the site that you want to go to get your credit report. This site right here is the one you want to go to. Your credit report matters. Credit reports may affect your mortgage, your rates, your credit card approvals, apartments requests, and even your job application. Receiving or reviewing credit reports help you catch signs of identity theft early. Free credit reports. This is a free credit report, not freecreditreport.com. So don't go there. Still go to annual credit report. Is basically telling you that you get a free credit report. Everyone, before this month hits the 15th or before this month comes to a conclusion, make sure you have a copy of your credit report. Get a free copy of your credit report. And again, it says here every 12 months, but as you saw up here, it's weekly now. Weekly. So ensure that the information on all your credit reports is correct and up to date. Obviously, this is brought to you by the three bigs, which is Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. But I wanted to show you this page because this is the page that you should be going to. If you type in annual credit report and you get to a different page, understand you should not be paying not one penny. Does anybody see in here anything on here where there's a payment? Because there is no payment. Why is there no payment associated with this credit report? Because this is only your credit report. What you're paying for when you go to these other sites is these other sites want to lock you into your credit score. They want you to pay for your credit score. Well, I've said it before. If the credit score is incorrect, then what has made the credit score incorrect? Right here, your credit report. So it's best to do the evaluation, be deep diving into prior to taking on any other credit obligations. Get to know what's inside your credit report before you start looking for credit products. This is the year. Do not, we got a whole bunch of uncertainty, whole bunch of circumstances ongoing out there. Do not put yourself in a predicament where you're going to have buyer's remorse. So just take your time, relax, and chill. But I want to say it one more time. This is the website that you should be going to get your free annual credit report. And you can get it weekly. So use that to your advantage. So to wrap this up, I want to thank everybody for making time. I make time for you and you make time for me. And then we make time to make sure that our community has the financial resources that it needs. It's just that simple. Appreciate you all immensely. Thank you so much for those of you who always continue to keep making time. And for that, I am greatly appreciative. Have a great and wonderful afternoon. Be safe. Travel well. I think New York is expecting a little bit of snow, but nevertheless, those roads are crazy out there. America, you all continue to be safe.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.